Hello and welcome. This is Lisa McCardle, your intuitive inner wisdom awakener. And I'm here today to talk to you about the new moon energy. New moon happens today, August 18th. It happens at 7:41 p.m. Pacific time. And it's a new moon in Leo. So let's talk a little bit about new moon energy. New moon is where we move into the shadow, into the darkness, right? When the moon goes void, we are in the shadow. This happens today. It's the start time for the new moon, for the moon frequency. So what this gives you is a fresh new start, right? It's a clean slate. These days, these new moon days also gift you with an amazing opportunity for significant manifestation. So every new moon does that, but this one is hyper expressive, I want to say. It's the second new moon we've had in a 30-day frequency, which exponentially increases its power, its potency. It's also, I'm loving that today is the 18th day of the 8th month, activating and still riding this 8-8 frequency from the Lion's Gate. So remembering that the 8 is the number of infinite possibilities, right? And then today actually comes out to be a 12-day, which brings us into the number 3, which is a day of creativity. It's about getting creative about your manifestation, getting creative about community, communion. I like to think of it as the holy trine between the body, the mind, and the spirit, right? All parts plugged in and ready to go into your greatest significant creation, supported by that 8 energy, which is the infinity of possibility, right? And also it's interesting that this month is also a 3-month. So we have a 3-day code with a 3-month. Okay, so that also expands upon itself. And then the number 12 today, if we take 8 plus 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2, we come into a 12 frequency, and the 12, it's a beginning and an end. Okay, 1's always the number of new beginnings, and this brings in again a beginning and an end, right? You get to see both sides of it with the 2, and you get the fresh start of the 1. So you have the beginning and the end frequency. So it's all hands on deck. Everything's coming to be that this day is a potent day for manifestation and creation. Little astrology is we have Leo. It's the new moon's in the sign of Leo. Leo is the activation of the sun, and it's bringing light to the shadows. Okay, so this is internally and externally. We also have it positioned with Mercury. Mercury is at play today. Mercury is about the mind. It's about communication, right? So here's this 3 number bringing us into communion and communication with the energy of Mercury, bringing you back to your sovereignty. So today gives you the opportunity to have a greater balance, we will call it, between the heart and the mind. It's where they come into a congruent state, which is really a recipe for your salvation and your freedom. It also aligns you to be in greater creation. So move with how you're feeling called to move, is what I want to say. You might find yourself being incredibly exhausted. You might find yourself being incredibly activated. Move as you're called to move. It's going to depend very much on the frequency that you've been navigating and emitting over these last 6 months. So if you've been in the deep slumbers of rest, if you've been in the deep slumbers of rejuvenation, and that's what's being called to you from a soul level, then you might feel yourself massively activated, massively inspired into action. And that's your heart and your mind align in a frequency that you are motivated to move forward and you see clearly where you're going. You may be summoned into deep, deep, deep rest. There's a wired, tired feeling. You can be both at the same time, but listen to what the authentic frequency in your body is requiring and asking of you. And know that if you're moved into the deep state of rest, it's just for integration and rejuvenation. Integration is another word that's happening right now. This new moon calls us inward, and it gives us the pause or the space for integration. We have been riding so many currents, and we will continue to ride so many currents. This is like one after the next, after the next, after the next. It's been that way all year, and we continue to be that way through the finish of the year and even beyond, because this is the journey of becoming new humans. okay? It is a walk in the park, but it isn't always a luxurious walk in the park. But remember, you are made for this and more. You said yes to this and so much more. It's why you're here. So with that being said, make sure that the moon, this Leo energy reminds us to stay in the light, no matter how dark the shadows might be. And when you're really focused upon the light, your inner wisdom, always going inside to inform what your next action, activity, space, place, creation shall be. Always, you are the guru now. You hold sovereignty over everything. You know the truth. The truth is alive within you. You are the light. The light is alive within you. Allow this Leo energy to create the illumination of the light that already exists within you, to shine through any spaces of the shadow. This is internally and externally. Okay, so let's say when, because most likely this will occur, at some level, as shadows are being revealed, right? Because to deconstruct third dimensionality, that which was constructed in it must be released or crumbled, right? And as the shadows, we'll say, of the illusions crumble, the light shall rise right behind. Your opportunity is to always stay in the frequency of the light, especially when you perceive that darkness or shadows are prevailing. The more you attune yourself to always staying in the frequency of light, of hope, of love, of possibility, the easier this ride's going to be for you. No matter what you're experiencing inside or out, this new moon energy reminds us that where there is shadow, there is opportunity. Where there has been illusion, there is opportunity to cast new light, to come into higher sovereignty, to move back to grace. It's why we're here. So what's happening internally is happening externally. You might perceive it to be different, but actually it's the same frequency, it's the same expression, it's the same exposure, it's the same because you are not separate from that which exists around you. You are part of that which exists in all the expressions. So stay in your light no matter how dark you might perceive it to become. The focus for this mid-month is to stay with your dreams. What are you dreaming? This is a really active space for creation, right? New moon energy is all about manifestation. It's the fresh, clean slate, and it's what do you desire now? Your dreams have never had greater capacity to be recognized than they are in this moment, in this day, in this frequency. So dream on. Here's the thing that's super important. Do not give up. There's an expansion that must occur when you're right on the precipice of your greatest realization, your greatest receiving. When you're right on the edge of the thing that you want the most coming into its full expression, the tendency often from third dimensionality is to collapse into either disappointment, fear, non-trust. It's almost like the closer the frequency gets to you, the resistance that has always been alive within you begins to show itself at another level. Anything that you have the capacity to dream, you have the capacity to simultaneously receive. You would not dream it if a vibrational alignment to the experience of it did not already exist within you. So the message here, my friends, is do not give up. The frequency of receiving and of creating, as if by magic, is more alive within you in this moment than in any other moment that you have ever existed. How exciting is that? Balance, 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 balance in all things. If you're tired, rest. If you're wired and want to create, create. Attached to nothing, allow for everything. Seek balance in all things. Is your work-life balance balanced? Is your self-care, other care of others, is it balanced? Right? Where's the balance? Where's the disbalance, lack of balance? What's out of balance? Focus upon this and bring everything into balance. You'll find greater ease, again, with your presence. Either rev up or slow down, however you're called to move. Just move with it. And then one of the greatest contributions and opportunities right now, mid-month, this day, new moon in Leo, is self-love. The lion's heart, right? And full exposure of the truth that you are a sovereign being, you are a sourced being, you were created in love and in light, and you are the full culmination of love and of light. Your heart frequency is literally in an expansion mode. The cells of our physical body are expanding in frequency to hold greater capacity for love. The auric field of the body is resonating in expansion to hold greater frequency of love. It's always been there. It's just been denied by external sources to keep you from the truth of understanding your greatest capacity, which is to love infinitely. We've been programmed to believe that love equals pain. It's all the illusionary play of third dimensionality. When you love unconditionally, without attachment, your love is infinite. It does not require presence of another being standing in front of you to be actualized. It's infinite in its expression. It's the mind that attaches to the expression of it and limits it. And therefore, the perception is that it causes pain. It's all an illusion, my friends. Your capacity to move into sovereignty of greater love expression is more available to you in this moment than in any other moment that has ever existed. You are an infinite being. You're an infinite creator. Love of self first is the expansion, the expression that allows it to expand outward. And there has never been a greater time for you to move into the truth of this than in this moment. It's all available to you. The shadows that have prevented you from seeing the truth of your own inner light, your inner wisdom, they are being illuminated through the light of this Leo energy to bring you back to the truth of your infinity. And truth is, friends, your love is the way shower. Your love of self first, so that it may spill into the infinity of love of the collective. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of the month. Create well, love infinitely, and rest or create as you are called. I love you.